Hello friends, this is Yuam. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to share what I eat as a high raw vegan minimalist, and I'm hoping to share my approach to be of benefit to anybody who wishes to transition or are interested in the path of plant-based living. I will share the usual things that I like to eat for each meal, including the snacks that I have throughout the day and the bedtime snack that I have. And I'm hoping to share more about the supplements that I choose to include, as well as the tools, including mono meals, juicing, smoothies that I do in my practice to accelerate the process of detoxing and healing myself, especially my liver, to address the conditions of my Hashimoto symptoms as well as adrenal fatigue. And I do invite some cooked food in the ratio of 80-20 on the day that I invite it, but most times I like to keep my days fully raw. And what I usually go for are some squashes, winter squashes, and steamed Brussels sprouts, steamed broccoli, cauliflowers. I like acorn squash. I like kabocha, which is so sweet and delicious and rich. And I also like sweet potatoes and potatoes. They're deeply nourishing and really wholesome and very grounding food that I like to include sometimes. I usually start my day with lemon water and then some celery juice to introduce some proper mineral salts and to restore my adrenals that have been affected from inevitable stress throughout my day, from work and from the energy of doing. So I like to release the stress that I am going through, that a lot of us are going through and commonly shared. At the same time, I also make juice that is vegetable based, and some fruits are included, including apples and oranges. I like to add some ginger, turmeric, also some basil, kale, love beets, bell peppers. If I can get my hands on, I love fennel, and I like cucumber, and these have been really nourishing and help support my adrenals throughout the day. If I feel nervous, or if I feel anxious or tired, if I notice my armpits are sweating, those are the times that I bring in these fastly digestible and fastly absorbable nutrients for my adrenals. Breakfast is always mono meals. And there are times, sometimes I like to mix two different types of fruits, but I do like to keep it simple. And what I usually go for is half a watermelon or 5 to 6 mangoes, or I also like some bananas into my system early in the morning, and some figs. They're deeply nourishing. Any sweet, high carb fruits that I have always enjoyed throughout my lifetime, that are super sweet and very energizing. So I like to have some food in my system before my practice of doing 60 to 90 minutes of yoga, so that I can have the energy. But anybody who feel it's necessary to have an empty stomach for their routine of nutritious movement, I think that's also okay. It's just that my system it performs better when it has some type of nourishment early on in the day. Around 12 or around 11:30 is when I finish my practice, and I decide to have some lunch. And right now I'm really loving and appreciating the delicious flavor and the texture of nice creams, which is banana ice cream. So it's frozen bananas. I put about 6 to 8 bananas, blend them up with some powder supplements, usually ashwagandha, and I also like to put some chaga. And recently I'm loving the mushroom blend by Layered Superfoods. I have actually tried and loved the coconut water powder, and now I've included the mushroom and the hemp protein powder in my routine through this opportunity of teaming up with them. And this mushroom powder, it includes chaga, it also has maitake and all the other nutritious mushrooms to support my immune functions. I'm so grateful to know that Layer's ingredients, they're wholesome, they're natural, and fully compatible. So if anyone's interested in including this into their routine, or simply want to try out some of their offers, feel free to follow my link in the descriptions below. Also, this is the time when I find it most appropriate to go to my supplements and do my routine. And I, at the moment, consume B12, also zinc, vitamin D3, and other supplements at nighttime separately. And so far it's working out for me, and I think it's really necessary for my body, as I have consulted my nutritionist, and also knowing that Medical Medium endorses supplements for the healing process. And I just know that our soil and our foods sadly are depleted of a lot of the essential nutrients and minerals that we all need. So I feel that it's necessary in the modern age, where these foods are no longer the same from the past, to be able to nourish myself through these supportive things. But I don't think it's necessary to rely on them, but to help me, to assist me in being my wholesome self. For snacking, I find it important to do it every 2 to 3 hours to help my cortisol level stabilize and to not have an adrenal crash when I know that I'm more susceptible to those things because of my liver condition. So I like to snack throughout the day. I like to bring in some dates, also some apricots or dried figs when available. I also like to have the juices that I made in the morning, and some Medical Medium heavy metal detox smoothie, and the liver rescue smoothie or the thyroid smoothie. So those are really good ways for me to nourish myself and not forget to treat myself during the day while I'm working or going out about the day. Hydration for me is something that I've mentioned a lot of the times, and the lemon water really helps, the lime water or ginger water. I also like herbal remedies, so I include some licorice root tea, I have some nettle leaf tea, and I also like to include rose hip and those peppermint as well. And those I think are good to mineralize water so that the body can absorb the water and make use of it instead of straight filtering out through our system. Dinner is when I start to introduce more of the heavy ingredients that include overt fat like avocado, cashews, almonds, tahini butter, and I also introduce protein choices like spinach, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. I also like to include sprouted lentils, sprouted chickpeas, and a lot of sprouts. And those have been serving me really well. And my decision in waiting for the heaviest things to come later is for the digestion, the optimal digestion, meaning I let all the fast digesting carbohydrates that have high water content to digest, high water and high fiber content to fully digest without being interrupted by more ingredients that require more time which includes the avocados and the pumpkin seeds or the sesame seeds and the tahinis. So I let my body flush out and kind of let myself restore that natural rhythm of the digestive system, and I practice to become conscious of that natural rhythm instead of disturbing it with poor food combination. But I do believe that it's not necessary to be so intentional with the food combination. But I think at the moment my priorities, my personal goals are to support myself through the detox process and to heal my liver as soon as possible. So it's just a personal preference of mine. It's not necessary, but I think it's a good tool for me to utilize at the moment, which I might change in the future. And also this is a good time for me to introduce any of that steamed squash, steamed sweet potato, pumpkins, anything like that that I like to have for the last meal. And for bedtime snacks, sometimes I feel the need and sometimes I don't. Usually I don't because I don't feel hungry, but I do try to make the effort to eat it so that I don't feel a drop in my adrenals late at night. And what I like to invite are some fat-free sources like celery, carrots, and dates. And also sometimes I like some chia bars, cashews, and some almond butter dates as well. What I put into my body, what I do to my body, to my inner temple, has always been an intimate and sacred practice. And I think it's important to be conscious of what I'm doing to myself and what my habits and routines consist of. But I also am learning that it's not necessary to be obsessive or to be attached to being healthy. So I'm trying to find a moderate ground in between, not in the physical action and the discipline and the doing, but in the mentality and the emotional and spiritual experience, where I can effortlessly be healthy, effortlessly know what I want to eat and what is good for me, and not worry so much about not having the proper preparation and the right routine that will make me feel safe and secure in the decisions that I make. So I'm learning to embrace my path of following the medical medium protocol, doing my 80-10-10, and supporting myself fully without being so worried about external criticism or the obstacles and the challenges I will continue to face in a world that I think is not that compatible with my lifestyle choices. So it's a maneuver that I have to make, that I'm willing to do for myself, as I deserve it, as I'm worthy of wholesomeness. So I hope that anyone on a similar path or wanting to walk this path, or is just simply intrigued or interested, can derive something useful from what I shared. And if anybody interested, feel free to continue following me on Instagram for more inspiration on recipes. And I sometimes share some of them on our Vibely community, so feel free to join our community as well. Thanks again for being here, my friends, and I hope to see you again soon.